all the resolutions that are made by organs of ODM, except one. Wanachama ODM wakipitisha waseme Sifuna ni shenzi kabisa, nitasoma. Wakisema huyu Sifuna ni bure kabisa, nitasoma. Lakini siku ile watapitisha ati chama cha ODM kitaunga Kasongo mkono mwaka wa 2027. Hiyo nataka niseme mbele yenu na mbele ya Mwenyezi Mungu, hiyo sisomi. Unanielewa?
Naambia baba hivi, nimwambie nisimwambie? Niambie baba nisimwambie? Mimi Caleb Khamisi, ukiamua kuunga mkono William Ruto, baba, that will be the end of me and you, amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, what is Sifuna up to? What is Caleb Khamisi and many other young politicians up to? I've done a video on that, but on this particular video, I want to focus specifically on Edwin Sifuna and Caleb Khamisi. Now, as we speak today, one thing that we're able to learn, it is that the two leaders have already threatened to quit the ODM party.
Leo Sifuna na waga moto kule Trans Nzoia manze, jamaa amesema amedeclare kitu moja. Point of departure ya yeye na ODM itakuwa wakati ODM itasema mbwekse, wakati ODM itasema mbwekse, wakati ODM itasema ni two term, Sifuna atachana hao watu. Sifuna hapo naye amejua. He knows very well. Nairobi saa hii ukitaka commit political suicide in broad daylight, shikana na William Ruto, shikana na Kasongo, shikana na Broadbase, utaona moto. Sijui utachaguliwa na nani.
First of all, in politics, so long as you threaten, you've lost trust from the party leaders and the party management. So the fact remains that these leaders of ODM, the top ones, have already dismissed Caleb Khamisi and of course Edwin Sifuna. So Edwin Sifuna, whether he likes it or not, is already an outgoing Secretary General of the ODM party. Whether he likes it or not, he's not going to survive in the ODM party. And according to me, the way I'm seeing things, probably he's aware of that and is also planning his exit. One thing that he's looking for, it's an excuse for him to be kicked out. He will not resign. I want to tell you that. He wants to be kicked out, and probably so that he can be able to use that kicking out as a ground for him to start his politics, especially in Nairobi. But Raila and ODM has always left him to do his game, to do his things. And that is the most dangerous thing. The moment Edwin Sifuna will do something that the public will not like, that's the end of him. Because Raila and ODM, the ODM party, will take an advantage and bounce in and kick him out of the party on the basis that he has messed up something in relation to the common manage. But now in this particular video, I want to look at the observations that I made from Edwin Sifuna's speech and of course that of Caleb Khamisi. Ladies and gentlemen, let me dive into this topic. But before I do so, if this is the first time you're watching my videos today, kindly, ladies and gentlemen, please make sure that you subscribe, like, and comment, because that's how you get support my channel. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for those who have supported me to the 11,000 subscription mark. Now I'm proceeding to 12,000. Please be part of the journey. Let me dive into this topic without much wasting of time. The first observation that I made is that Caleb Khamisi and Edwin Sifuna had an agreement before that function. It's not a coincidence that they are both giving conditions for them to exit the party. In that, they're also giving the same reason for them to exit the party. They have studied and realized that the public is against President William Ruto. And that for them to get back their seats, they're likely to get them back if they are against President William Ruto. More especially Edwin Sifuna in Nairobi, where we have the one-term movement much more than any other part of this country. So, ladies and gentlemen, so by being at that side, they have given it as the reason for them to quit the ODM party. In that if Raila and ODM decides that he was going to support William Ruto in 2027, they are going to quit the ODM party. It was said by Caleb Khamisi and then also by Edwin Sifuna. That is not a coincidence. These people sat down and agreed that that is the condition as to why they're going to quit the ODM party. That is number one. Number two, what I also learned from this is that these people are on their way out. There are rumors going around that there's a party that is being developed. But the fact remains that all these kind of complaints are signs of them leaving the ODM party. And there's a likelihood that these people will leave the ODM party, more especially Edwin Sifuna will resign as a Secretary General either in 2026 or even now towards the end of 2025. I don't know what is your take, but I feel strongly that is going to happen. Another thing that I have to tell you here, it is that Edwin Sifuna knows very well that his re-election in Nairobi, it is mandatory that he must quit the ODM party. Mandatory. He has to quit the ODM party. Why? After Raila Amolo Odinga has rallied the people of Luo Nyanza and of course the people of Western to some extent to vote for another candidate, then Edwin Sifuna will be left with the Mount Kenya people and some Kambas and people generally in the opposition. So to get their vote, he must be with them. Either way, even if he quits, still he will have the Luya and the Luo votes supporting him, because Edwin Sifuna is among the people who have been speaking loudly in support of the common mwananchi. The other thing that I was able to observe from there is this. There's a party that is going to come up. Whether we like it or not, led by the young leaders from the Western region, there's a party they're just about to develop, which is going to play a critical role in their election in 2027. So the fact remains, when I look at it, this party is going to be led by these young leaders. And probably the party is in place already, or they're just trying to come up with a way so that they can be able to find the exit from these other parties, so that they can find a way also to land on the new party through supporting it. So the fact remains, as I've seen everything the way it is happening, there's a party in place, a party leader probably identified either an Tembea or someone, or maybe Edwin Sifuna himself, and then later on in the future, they use it in 2027 to propel their candidature in various capacities as leaders of this country. So the fact remains that a party has been developed. Another thing I want to state here categorically, it is that young leaders, especially those of Western Kenya, are planning something very serious. And I feel strongly that when I listened to Caleb Khamisi this morning when he was speaking at Obina TV, Caleb Khamisi was insinuating that they have to go beyond the kingpinship. And as we speak today, Boni Khalwala has come out to become the kingpin. George Natembea wants the same thing. Moses Wetangula as well. Wycliffe Musalia Mudavadi also wants the kingpin position. They have forgotten the interest of the people of Western Kenya. So the fact remains that if they will not organize themselves, well, they are going to fail. So the young people have spotted across, have looked across and realized that these older generations are not taking them anywhere. They're just having the party politics alone, maybe the kingpin stuff, and they're forgetting what the common mwananchi needs. So as a result, they have decided to go and create their own movement that is going to be national. Now, also not to forget, if these people decide to quit the ODM party, there are repercussions. The first one, if they quit now, more especially now Edwin Sifuna, if he resigns, first of all, he might upgrade or go downwards, because now he'll be open for hitting by various ODM members of parliament. But I know him as an intelligent man, he can be able to maneuver through and win. But if they also support other people's ideologies, other parties' ideologies, there's a likelihood probably ODM is going to kick him out from the party and even create the election in Nairobi. But I don't think the people of Nairobi will allow that. Now, one thing that Raila Amolo Odinga is very careful about is not to mess his reputation further. Ever since he joined the William Ruto after the Gen Z protests, the fact remains that Raila Amolo Odinga's reputation was destroyed almost to an end. His fights that he has been holding in this country in relation to betterment of the Kenyan lives and the life of Kenyans, ladies and gentlemen, Raila Amolo Odinga, the moment he made the mistake to join William Ruto, everything was forgotten. And actually, let's speak today. It's very shocking that Raila Amolo Odinga could call for people to go to Kamkunji and they don't turn up. Raila Amolo Odinga could go to an event in Kisii and get heckled. Raila Amolo Odinga could go to an event in Kisumu and you don't see that charisma that people used to have. That is a clear sign that Raila Amolo Odinga's reputation has drowned significantly. So he does not want to ruin the current reputation further. So the fact is, he has to be very careful on what he's doing to these young leaders, and probably is giving them room to do their thing. But we cannot rule out that also these leaders probably are sent by Raila Amolo Odinga. They're pretending to be pushing Raila Amolo Odinga into a corner so that William Ruto can be able to listen to some of the demands that they have in relation to their deals with the government. So the fact remains, they could be also trying to do what you call to push William Ruto through these two leaders and many others who are opposing government. But also we can also as well state that these leaders could be doing it voluntarily from their own conviction that that's the right thing that they are doing in support of the people of Kenya. I don't know what is your take, but in the comment section, you can feel free to share with me on what you think as far as Edwin Sifuna and of course Caleb Khamisi is concerned. See you next time for more videos. Please make sure that you subscribe, like and comment, because that's the best support you can always give this channel. My name is Abel Mokwa.